everyone. Good evening and welcome to the live stream. We are back. I'm calling it the live stream because we're going to take a look at Sean Hannity in a very special edition of Stop the INHANNITY. Am I the only one who gets that, who recognizes that phrase? Susan Powter, a renowned diet lady, workout expert, something, used to have infomercials on all the time. And it was called Stop the Insanity. And she would say, stop eating cheese, eat potatoes. Potatoes without cheese, what is the point? Good to see everybody. Welcome aboard. If you want to chat, the way to do it is just to chat. And whatever platform you're on, be it Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it'll end up going over into that blue area over there. That is the main chat. The best place to chat is over there on the YouTubes. So Sean, the reason I wanted to do Sean tonight is because I saw that ASIN was covering it on Twitter, and Sean has the lawyer, one of the lawyers for President Trump, who's going to be representing him in the impeachment trial. By the way, he's already been impeached, right? Well, it's done. He's been impeached. Now he's got to be convicted. Different thing. Impeachment is just like an indictment. It's like a grand jury saying, yeah, there's enough here to go ahead with it. So, if you happen to be a Sean Hannity fan and you're watching, or perhaps someone cares about you and doesn't want you listening and believing Sean, this may help. And I might start doing this on a regular basis because Sean is a smart individual. He knows what he's doing. And what he's doing is dangerous. A police officer has died because he was bashed in the head with a fire extinguisher. 2 more officers since the insurrection on January 6th have killed themselves. And that's not including the people actually doing the insurrection that were either shot or died on scene. Let's just get right into it. This is Sean Hannity.
Welcome to Hannity. Once again, tonight we are tracking multiple developing stories at this hour, including a big update from Gitmo, where the Biden administration was set to give this COVID-19 vaccine to terrorists, pushing them to the front of the line. America last, ahead of you, the millions of law-abiding Americans. And I guess
right away when this story broke on Friday or Saturday, the the Biden administration released a statement saying, nope, that's not what's happening. That's not the plan.
This is the new foreign policy, get along Joe mentality. Anyway, also tonight we have bombshell new undercover video, Project Veritas, exposing even more big tech corruption and bias, this time from Facebook. And Mark Zuckerberg, we have the tape, we'll play it exclusively.
Okay.
And later...
You don't like Facebook? Don't use Facebook. You know what? If you have a big problem with Facebook, Sean Hannity, don't pay your Facebook bill. Refuse to.
Yes, fake news, CNN's Humpty Dumpty.
Speaking of fake news, Parler is still not back. It's been like a month now, maybe? Pretty close. I don't even remember, but no, it's less than a month. 3 weeks. They said they'd be back in 24 hours. They said they had multiple offers of servers offering to host them, wanting their business. Still not back. Let me just check it quickly here. I don't want to make a liar out of anybody, and by anybody I mean me. Let's just look here. Oh, you know what? I already had a link to it here. Parler. Here we go. Nope. I wish that John guy would hurry up already. There's his meme. That's Bernie. By the way, if you don't have your Bernie stickers, go to, I don't know, this nice lady, my daughter ordered me these Bernie stickers. You can get them yourself from a place called Maya Makes Company. She's got an Etsy site. So pretty much on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, she is at Maya Makes Co. So she really ought to get herself a website. That's it right there, if you can read that. I hope you can. So just follow her anywhere there, and it'll link to her Etsy shop. Okay, so etsy.com/shop/Maya Makes Company. Might want to think about MayaMakesCompany.com. Anyway, she said with the stickers, She sent me 2 stickers. And with the stickers, she wrote me a nice note. Kevin, thank you so, underlined, much for supporting my small business. I hope you love your Bernie stickers. I do, Maya. I do. Love, Maya. There you go. Finally, a woman who loves me unconditionally. I buy some stickers from her. I didn't open her car door. I didn't put the toilet seat down. She just loves me no matter what. And I love that. I love you too, Maya. And I mean that in a very real way. Let's go back to Hannity now that we figured out I'm not a liar.
Now referring to
So get your stickers, kids, is what I'm saying. She also does SpongeBob.
Fox News as a pipeline of radicalization.
Yes, that is true.
He wants large media, cable corporations to regulate and to censor.
In case you missed it, friend of mine lives right over here with his parents, looks after his parents. They're old, 90 and 87 respectively, even though I didn't tell you. So I used that incorrectly, respectively. I should have said his mother and father, 90 and 87 years old, respectively. But I used it in the sense that he respects them. And he wants them to be healthy. So he arranged for vaccine appointments for the COVID. And his dad wouldn't take it. His dad watches a lot of Fox News and just does not trust that Bill Gates.
This network, this program, pretty much anyone he disagrees with. Humpty calling it a harm reduction model. All
Humpty? Did he call him Humpty?
while working at the sewer.
Hold on.
Large media, cable corporations to regulate and to censor.
Yeah.
This network, this program, pretty much anyone he disagrees with. Humpty calling it a harm reduction model, all while working at the sewer of disinformation.
Does he call Brian Humpty Dumpty? Is that a thing on the Hannity? I don't even know. I don't know why. Okay. Whoa, good burn, Sean. Leslie says to Google Don Jr. Mark Meadows in his YouTube video coming up at Telegraphs is 105. Leslie, go into a little more detail there so I can figure out what you're talking about. Here we go.
And outright, never-ending lies and a lot of hate over there at CNN. Now, I have a message for him and all of his cancel, free speech, hating colleagues over there. And protest.
Does someone want to talk to Liz Cheney about cancel culture? How bad it is? Does somebody want to mention that to her? Does someone want to mention that Rick Gates flew from the Florida Panhandle to Wyoming to give a speech on the steps of the Capitol saying that we need to get rid of Liz Cheney from the Republican Party? Does someone want to tell Rick Gates that we're not doing cancel culture?
Tonight, we're watching Rochester, New York, after a 9-year-old was arrested.
I call people names all the time. I call Sean Hannity. Literally, the title of this thing is "Stop the INHANNITY." It's kind of name calling, but I don't get Humpty Dumpty. I just called Matt Gaetz Rick Gates. Why? Because Trump called Matt Gaetz Rick Gates.
And apparently pepper sprayed in the back of a police cruiser. We have the full tape and a live report and who these protesters may be. But first, we turn to the swamp in D.C., where the Biden administration now is quickly unilaterally enacting.
They've got Joe Biden with wind turbines in the background and also puppet controls. So, are there a name for that? Is it the sticks that you control the marionettes with? Puppet of the left. Biden doesn't know what he's doing. This has been the continuing I want to say story, but there's a better word for it. It's not agenda. Narrative. Thank you. It's been the continuing narrative of Fox News, at least their late night folks, that Biden doesn't know what he's doing and he's all controlled by AOC. That's the narrative over there.
And literally the radical agenda of what...
Even though he beat Trump soundly in the election, and in the debates, and since then has been on the ball. I was a little bit worried about Joey to begin with, because he has a tendency to make gaffes once in a while. Since his inauguration, he has been on the mark every single time.
Is Bernie Sanders and AOC. They control this new radical extreme.
Hold on. Leslie saying 1 minute, 5 seconds. Can we watch it after Hannity? Yes. Whatever it is you're talking about with Don Jr., we'll watch it after Hannity as long as you remind me and I don't forget and I read it. So if all those things align, we will. If you're watching this for the first time, I am your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. This is what we do. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I just take a look at things and call them like I see them. And like I see them is usually factual. That's all. I look into things. We can do the research together. If you know something I don't know, let me know, and I will share. If you're watching this delayed, it's probably because somebody saw it and said, you know what? Uncle Remus needs to watch this. I'm saying your name is Remus in this situation. I know why, but Remus, Song of the South, that's where that comes from. Has anybody ever met anyone named Remus, like in the last 50 years? I have not. Anyway, yeah, clearly Biden's going to get cancer from this experience, as Kim Chi just said.
Socialist Party.
Backstage at the rally is what Leslie's talking about, wants us to watch that video. This is what we do. We're interactive here. If you're not watching this live, this is what happens. We just start, and then you folks contribute. That's what we do. Sometimes I'll make videos without a chat room. They won't be live. When I'm doing things live, I like to interact with the chat. If you have opposing viewpoints, you're welcome to put them in the chat room. Let us know, and we can respond. But please just don't hurl insults without any actual substance behind them. If something changes, I want to know about it.
Joe Biden completely, totally controlled by those around him. He's never really held an original thought or ideas on his own anyway. And
just stupid to say. Stupid to say. Stupid to say to someone who has never had an original thought or idea. Just insanely dumb, Sean. Well, I might say the same thing about you, but you know what? It's not true. Every single human being on the planet has had an original thought. Do better. You're smarter than this. You choose to be evil, but do better with it. You're not even phoning it in at this point. You're texting it in and posting it on Parler. Never had an original thought. Hey, everybody has.
In fact, many of his early speeches were literally plagiarized word for word. And now that Joe has become...
Many of them. Okay, how many? Give me a count. Go ahead. I know, I've heard it. I've heard the spiel. He has lifted passages and paragraphs before. I get that. And yet, many of them are not. And those probably outnumber the words that were plagiarized 20,000 to 1 by this point. Would those count as original thoughts? Yes. Yes, they would. Judges agree.
Frail and weak and cognitively struggling.
He's not. I've been watching him, Sean, and you know he's not cognitively. I am. I'm cognitively struggling. He's not. Joe's doing fine. Joe's looking very good. Again, I'm not a Democrat. I did not vote for Hillary. Joe's looking great. You know what would be somebody who would be cognitively struggling? Someone saying something absolutely insanely stupid like, he's never had an original thought. I mean, if you believe that, if you're being honest with your audience right now, Sean, you're cognitively struggling. Just telling you.
His dependence on others is worsening. And tonight, Joe Biden's brain malfunction, well, became a part of his greatest hits. This will be part of the Joe Biden cognitively struggling moments that the media is ignoring. This is a new one.
Sean, you're part of the media. Many nights before the election, you had the #1 show in cable network news. I guess you could just say cable news. Network news are the big three. You are the media, Sean. It's you. And you never ignore these things. In fact, you play the same clips over and over and over and over again every night for years.
Close attention.
Okay.
this is enough vaccine
Yeah.
to fully vaccinate 300 Americans by end of the summer, the beginning of the fall. But we want to make, look.
Yeah, people make mistakes. We all know what he meant. We all know he meant 300 million. Trump did that all the time too. Trump made up his own numbers. Hold on, I'll see if I can find those.
I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic.
300 Americans. It's an amazing accomplishment, Joe.
Oh, that's great. That was right on the ball. What a significant burn there, Sean. Let's watch that again, because I love the way he comes back and does not make any mistakes. Ready? Here comes Sean.
I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic.
300 Americans. It's an amazing accomplishment, Joe.
Yeah, it's amazing accomplishment, Joe. Let's just take a look at your hero, Mr. Trump.
America continues to perform more, 1.87 million tests to date, so that's probably why we have more cases.
This is unedited video. That's why it jumps around a bit here, but it's coming. Just stay with me. Here we go.
I know for a fact that they have far more cases than we do, but they don't report them.
Okay.
We've performed 1.87 million tests to date, so that's 1,870,000 million tests.
100 million thousand tests. Let's listen to that again.
We've performed 1.87 million tests to date.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. You've just said it. And he likes to repeat things. He likes to say them again. If you say things twice, people believe them, no matter what they are. If you say them twice, people believe them. Doesn't matter what they are. He likes to do this. He likes to read something. I saw a red dog walking down the street. In other words, I saw a dog. It was red. It was walking down the street. And use exactly the same words. This time, he not only makes up the words, he makes up a new number.
That's 1,870,000 million tests.
1,000 million? Is it a gazillion, Don? Is it a gazoopalin? Anyway, yeah, Biden said 300 and meant 300 million. That shows he needs to be put in a home. Lock him away. One more time. I just want to see your response one more time.
But we want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic.
Yeah.
300 Americans. Gonna have. Gonna
have. Gonna have? Hold on. Let's see what the what the speech to text ended up.
Amazing accomplishment, Joe.
Yeah. Gonna have.
Doesn't quite add up. Fuzzy math. We'll have more on his struggle straight ahead.
Okay. The closed caption says, it's an amazing accomplishment, Joe. What Sean actually said was, gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate.
Obviously, Joe is easily
It's
controlled,
all right.
manipulated, and kind of out of it. But the radical left is in charge. This is why climate-based socialism has been the centerpiece.
See, here's the thing. Speaking of center and speaking of radical left, if the vast majority of voters picked this man, is he really that radically left? That by definition, isn't that the center? When 81 million Americans and your guy only got 74 million, isn't that by definition not so radical?
Of the Biden administration through the first 2 weeks. And because Democrats think that we, the American people, aren't paying attention, they actually want you to believe that Joe's climate policies is a jobs plan. Forget the thousands.
What? That's not English. Try that again.
And the centerpiece of the Biden administration through the first 2 weeks. And because Democrats think that we, the American people,
I am,
aren't paying attention, they actually want you to believe that Joe's climate policies is a jobs plan.
Joe's climate policies are a jobs plan. You're talking about the policies, those are the subject, they're plural. Joe's climate policies are the job plan. Here's the problem. Sean Hannity is very clearly controlled by the radical right. He doesn't know what he's thinking. He's never had an original thought. Oh, good, and good. See? See what you're doing, Sean? Pathetic.
Forget the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of hardworking men and women that are now out of work because Joe shut down the Keystone XL pipeline with a strong...
Really? Tens of thousands of temporary jobs? 35 permanent jobs in the United States. Doing what? Bringing in foreign oil. Okay? Canada's a foreign country, Sean. Not sure if you knew that. Ted Cruz doesn't know that. 11,000 temporary jobs. Best case scenario. And most of those jobs, the vast majority of those jobs, don't exist yet. Some people are out of work, and that's sad. That's bad. But remember, we're trying to get away from using foreign oil, especially oil from the tar sands, which is particularly dirty.
Stroke of a pen. We're told that the Dakota pipeline may follow next.
Right, and how did Trump approve the pipeline? Stroke of a pen.
Forget about the tens of thousands more
Did you want him to use a sword or something?
Americans losing jobs because of new fracking and drilling restrictions. Forget about the thousands that got pink slips, last week.
No. All he's done is put a temporary halt on new development only on federal land. Those jobs that you're talking about Americans losing, they don't exist. They're a fairy tale job on something that might have happened in the future if the permits had been approved. So no one's losing their job right now because of that. Now, you could stretch that out and you could say, well, the companies will look at it and say, well, we were going to try and get this operation on federal land, and because of that, we're not going to need you anymore, Tommy. So yes, maybe somebody somewhere present it that way. Just like when you used to say when Obama was running, when Hillary was running, that, Obama's got its all-time out of the labor force record for people out of the labor force. Right, retirees, etc. Now, does anybody want to talk about the record number of Trump citizens out of the labor force? You don't seem to mention that anymore.
As Biden halted all the border wall construction, but according to the Biden administration, they're trying to sell this differently. None of it matters because they say a whopping 1 million.
Yeah, Trump said the border wall was almost done, so how many jobs can that be? Those jobs were ending soon anyway. Trump said it was almost done. He bragged about completing the wall. That's what he said. So are you telling Trump he's a liar? Go ahead, give him a call.
New green energy jobs will magically appear and fill the void.
No, they're not going to magically appear. They're going to appear as the green energy products. What? How is that? Have you never seen a wind turbine? Because guess what? They do exist. People use energy, and there will be a demand for that energy. And as that demand increases, the production of the energy will increase. This is how capitalism works, Sean.
Even the Associated Press, hardly conservative, calling this a farce and accusing the Biden administration of leaving out important context and, yes,
Oh, no! Somebody left out context, Sean!
using that fuzzy math. They even call Biden's million-job promise, quote, far from certain, if not unlikely. In other words, Joe Biden...
It's not for certain. Jobs plans are never for certain. President Trump left office for the first time, a president who didn't leave office with more jobs than he entered, since we've been keeping stats on unemployment. Lost 3 million jobs, Trump did. Remember, he said the GDP was going to go to 4, 5, 6, maybe more, but he didn't want to say anything because he'd be criticized. GDP fell. Never got to 3% per annum. Never got to 4, never got to 5. I mean, really, how could it if it didn't get to 3? Inherited 3.3%.
is lying. But according to Vice President Kamala Harris, the new Green Deal.
What is this? What is this minesweeper? What? Oh, because she said coal workers could go and get other jobs, maybe as a minesweeper. Okay, okay.
Radical socialist agenda is critically important for our country because
not what I would have thought of as minesweeper. But I like that they've got this matrix background going here. All these, it's not even binary. It's just randomly generated digits in the background behind Kamala Harris, like a Windows 3.1 Minesweepers game. There's actually a thought process that went into that with the graphic design. I don't know exactly what it was, but these are numbers, so you got them.
Because those of you in West Virginia, will be getting out of the landmine retrieval business. Okay, like president, like vice president. Take a look.
And so it's job creation around investing in American manufacturing, job creation in terms of investing in American infrastructure and building up, back up American infrastructure, job creation around, for example, all of those skilled workers who are in the coal industry and transferring those skills to what we need to do in terms of dealing with reclaiming abandoned landmines, what we need to do around plugging leaks from oil and gas wells, and transferring those important skills to the work that has yet to be done that needs to get done.
Well, bet that's news to the hardworking people of West Virginia. To make matters worse, a local interview there, the state's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin was clearly mortified, and he was never even notified that the vice president would be conducting.
I wouldn't call it mortified, but I hope you play his reaction, and then the audience can judge whether he's mortified.
Conducting these interviews in his state, telling one local station, quote, "We're going to try and find a bipartisan pathway forward, but we do need to work together. That's not a way of working together."
I don't know if Joe Manchin has ever been mortified in his life.
By the way, is it an accident? Local interviews were also scheduled, let's see, West Virginia and Arizona. That's right, home to the only...
What is this graphic for? Why are we looking at that? Who is this? Do they have names? Can we put names on there?
Two Democratic senators that will not go along with ending the legislative filibuster. Coincidence. Keep in mind, the Biden administration, they've shown zero interest in working with anyone else. Remember, Biden...
Dude, he just had 10 Republican senators in the Oval Office today for a meeting. How is that zero? How is that zero, Sean? When was the last time Trump had 10 Democratic senators in the Oval Office? I'll give you a hint. Yeah.
Promised unity, and he vowed to reach across party lines, then immediately signed a record, a whopping record, 3 times the number of the last 3 presidents combined, 42 executive orders, things that he says he couldn't do, that he's not a dictator.
No, he never said he couldn't do them. And a lot of them are things like executive memos saying, hey, let's try not to be racist to Chinese people. But yeah, that's his job. You want to undo things quickly that Trump did? You use executive orders. You want to get things really happening and permanent? You do it through the legislative process. And what did he do today? He had Republican senators, which, by the way, I should say who, by the way, or perhaps whom, by the way, are unnecessary. They're irrelevant in this process right now. The Republicans lost the Senate. And for the purposes of reconciliation, which is how that particular bill will be passed, the GOP senators are irrelevant. Biden doesn't have to listen to them. As Mitch McConnell often said, winners make the rules. Biden won. But Biden, staying true to his promise to try and be bipartisan, had them in, heard them out. Let's see what happens. That's not zero, Sean. That's not even close to zero, like the number of COVID cases we have now.
And that he needed the votes, apparently not. According to the climate-obsessed radicals in his base, there's no time to waste because the planet...
I like this graphic here. You got Kerry, and Kerry's getting off a plane. Also Kerry here. I don't know I don't know how that makes him evil, but he's off to save the planet. I like it. Good, please. Please save the planet, John Kerry. There's nothing. I'm not hiding anything behind my head. That's it. That's the whole graphic. Off to save, in yellow, the planet. I do not know what is behind him in this graphic. See if anybody else can recognize it. Let's make a close-up of this. Let's really examine this graphic here. See this background here? Door. Is that a topographical map from Game of Thrones? I don't know. I'm as confused as you guys are on this one. Oh, hey, super chat from Leslie. Thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you very much, folks. If you want to contribute to the broadcast so that we can keep doing stuff like this and that I can buy myself more macadamia nuts, please do. You can do so by using Super Chat or PayPal right here, Venmo. If you're on YouTube, you can do something called Super Chat. It's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat. You can click there and I get some of that. Otherwise, PayPal, Venmo, or you can go to kevinleefather.com and contribute on a monthly basis. Yeah, I get planes and climate change. Maybe they're saying, like, because he's got a private jet, that it's hypocritical of him. I don't know, but I don't know what the... Is that the side of his jet? But I don't know what this Dorn is, right? I don't know.
Is dying. John Kerry says we have 9 years. Americans must make sacrifices, or, well, some Americans must make sacrifices, but not if your name is John Kerry.
That's not what anyone has been talking about, and Sean knows. Sean is smart enough to understand this. 9 years is the time when we have to start making changes by. It doesn't mean the planet's going to end in 9 years. Dumb.
You know, Biden's special...
Leslie, very quickly, you keep talking about the Don Jr. video on 1/6. Is that the one where he's in the tent before Trump's speech? Is that the one you're talking about?
Climate envoy, well, he frequently enjoys the comfort, the convenience of his very own private jet. We went back, we looked at the records. Fox News did this year, and look at what we saw from last year. His private jet was responsible for a whopping 116 metric tons of carbon. Now, 116 metric tons of carbon. By comparison, a typical American emits a mere 4.6 metric tons of carbon from driving. It's almost as if John Kerry...
So 116 over the for multiple trips with multiple family members plus other executives, etc. How many passengers is that? Because that might break down to be about 4. It could be less depending on how many trips they took. Give us the stats on that. That's really not that bad considering how many miles they put. How is that ominous? You know, don't use that one American driving a car thing because that sounds terrible. Okay, 4 goes into that 32. Okay. How many trips is that with how many people over how many miles? It really doesn't sound that bad. It's terrible. I don't think people should have a private jet. Oh, hey, thank you, Ruth Ann. Thank you for the super chat, Ruth Ann. Yes, we should all be emitting less carbon. Absolutely. I drive a hydrogen car. My output is water. I literally clean the air when I drive that car. My output is water, and I have an air filter on it that takes out the particulates in the Los Angeles area. I wish everyone could drive a car like that. But yes, some people have private jets, and to them they see it as a necessity. I would imagine that Sean Hannity has flown on a private jet before. I have.
Isn't that concerned about the environment after all? In reality...
No. You can still drive a car or have a private jet and be concerned about the environment. Those are not mutually exclusive. Is he looking for alternatives? Has he experimented with biodiesel planes? These are all, does he fund things like that? Probably does. I don't know.
The left's obsession with the...
But I would bet that Sean has been hammering Kerry on his private jet every single day since it broke. I would bet, I'm willing to bet that. I don't know how much money because I don't have a lot of money. But if you want to send me some money, I'll bet it. PayPal, Venmo, Kevin Lee Father, Super Chat, do it all.
Climate has little to do with pollution. It is a political tool for them. In fact, according to FoxNews.com, the Biden campaign raised a lot of money from green energy companies that will all
Dude, you're on Fox News right now, but okay.
now likely be rewarded for their efforts. But no doubt billions of your tax dollars will be soon headed their way. Not the jobs that ultimately millions of Americans will lose. And meanwhile, Americans might not ever receive the 2000.
Wait, he made a mistake there, but let's see if he covered it.
Rewarded for their efforts, but no doubt.
Yeah, so industries that donate end up being rewarded for their efforts. That's the way America works.
Billions of your tax dollars will be soon headed their way. Not the jobs that ultimately millions of Americans will lose. And
that makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, millions of jobs will be created, right? And again, not a guarantee, it never is. But that's what you do. You do the best that you think you can do. And Moody's tends to agree.
Meanwhile, Americans might not ever receive the $2,000 in COVID relief. Remember, Biden promised, according to the DNC, $1,400 is the new goal.
$1,400 has been the goal all along, so far as I can tell. I did a little bit of research on it this morning. If you guys have seen an actual quote from Biden saying we need to get 2,000 after the 600 was already put out there, and we know for sure that he's actually saying 2,000, not 2,000 total, including the 600. If you guys have that, let me know. I wasn't able to find it this morning, but honestly, I didn't spend too much time on it. I mean, right now, the Republicans don't even want the Americans to get that 1,400. Yeah, 1,400 plus 600 is 2,000. That was my understanding of it all along, and I have fairly good comprehending abilities. I've been watching Fox off and on during the day. I haven't seen anybody come up with the quote of him saying you get an additional $2,000.
Emily, I have no idea what's going to happen with the COVID relief package. In fact, tonight, there's a lot of uncertainty swirling around the Biden administration on a variety of important issues. One reason for the uncertainty is that the White House press secretary is completely, utterly clueless, unprepared, and unwilling to provide truthful answers.
Yeah.
She's going to circle back with the entire world. Take a
Right. She circled back, and today she circled back. And she gave those answers that she'd been made fun of for having to circle back because she didn't know them at the time. Because they were questions. Again, she'd done the job for 8-9 days at the time. And she says, I don't know that, I'll circle back, rather than just attacking the reporter.
look.
And last thing I just want to do before we get to your questions, I often note I'm going to circle back. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter, but I am going to circle back on a number of things, as we often do directly.
How is this bad? How is that bad?
We're going to circle back, and circle back again.
Right.
A longer montage coming. And that charade's been going on for 2 weeks and counting.
What? She answered she circled back. She gave the answers to the questions, which I noticed Sean didn't play. Speaking of out of context.
Happy to circle back with our team on.
Okay, so this is before. He's gonna own himself right now is what he's gonna do. Except he's not gonna play the actual circling back.
On that specific report. I will have to circle back on that one. I have to circle back with you on it. It's a good question.
Right.
We'll circle back with you. But we'll circle back with you on this today. We will circle back. Certainly circle back. We'll circle back. Circle back. I'll circle back. I hate to disappoint you, but I will have to circle back with you on that as well.
All right.
And I'll circle back on doing this show tomorrow.
No, you're doing the show right now, Sean. And guess what? Today, earlier, without a teleprompter, without a script, she circled the fuck back. And she gave them the answers she promised she would give them. Isn't that refreshing? They looked like idiots today. She owned them up there. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter. We just saw the clip. But I'm going to circle back. Here you go. And they still think that they can somehow use that. She promised she would give us the information eventually, and then she did! Here's a bell. There you go.
Psaki pledging to bring transparency back to the press room. Is that what transparency looks like?
Yes, when she gets you the answers to the questions you asked last week. How is that bad? Why is that, Chris? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. This would be like Popeye complaining that Wimpy paid him back on Tuesday for a hamburger today. Hey, he said he would pay me back, and then he did. That's more pirate than Popeye, but honestly, I can't remember what Popeye sounded like. Who's me all is loyal? That's as good as I can do. I'm thinking of the Robin Williams Popeye. I can't even remember the cartoon. But yeah, Sarah Sanders never actually circled back. Never actually get them. I'll get back to you on that one. Never. I did. I forget what it was. Might have been Brian Krem. Somebody actually answered that question and said, no, we never get the stuff she says we're going to get.
Circle back and let us know.
And remember, once the election happened, that was it. There were no more press conferences. The insurrection, 1 minute. She came out for less than 2 minutes and walked away.
No, joining us now with reaction, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, good to see you.
Oh, great.
It's great to be circled back with you here.
It's not what it means.
Thanks for circling back. Appreciate it. I'm watching. You heard Biden. He said we're gonna increase it by 50% from 400 to 600 million, and we're going to guarantee by the end of the summer that 300 Americans are going to get the vaccine. Then he said it again. Now, I've come under a lot of fire on this program because the Joe Biden that left 4 years ago, I don't see that today. He seems weak.
Yeah, Biden said 300 instead of 300 million. Hold on.
Continues to perform.
Here it is.
1.87 million.
Stop it.
We've performed 1.87 million tests to date, so that's 1,870,000 million tests.
Yeah. 1,000 million tests. People make mistakes. What Joe's mistake was nowhere near what Trump just made. But
and frail, and that shows another example he's struggling cognitively. Is that
Speaking of
unfair to
Wimpy.
me?
Well, I don't know because every day, so I can't judge where he.
Ammo says $600 is simply not enough when you have to choose between paying rent and putting food on your table. We need $2,000 stimulus checks. Biden January 10th Twitter. Okay, can you please get that link? Go find it in Biden's Twitter. Put the link in the chat room for us, please, and then I'll take a look at it.
He is and what's going on. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that I hope we can get all those vaccines to people. You know, we're in a race against this new strain. That's what we'll be focused on. And next week, it looks like we're going to be spending 6, 7, 8, 9 days glued to our chairs in the Senate doing nothing but a stupid impeachment trial, a ridiculous.
Stupid impeachment trial. Just a stupid impeachment trial. I hate it. I hate it. It makes me sad. So stupid. I wish I was never born. January 10th, you say? Okay, I'll do a Twitter search for that on January 10th, because I believe you. January 10th of 2021. I'm searching, and I'm looking through everything that he tweeted that day. I'll share it with you. This is what I'm doing, guys. This is January 10th. This is January 11th. January 15th. 20th. So we're just looking through January here, January 17th. Twitter search is not the greatest, and that's why I want you to actually share it with me, because there's one from the 10th. Let's go back. Let's go back to search, because I want to show you guys how to do this. This is Twitter Advanced Search. You just go to the account and you choose Joe Biden from the account. Then you put the filters. So you want to go January 10th of 2021 to January, let's make the 11th just to be on the safe side, of 2021, and let's search it. And okay, so now it's going to give us January 9th, January 10th. Okay, let's listen. Maybe it's okay. I see. So this may be something in here. Let's go to January 10th. This may be where it happens, right here.
I'm proud to announce we have finished naming our cabinet.
Okay.
Saving the best for last here. 24 outstanding women and men who will get our country moving again, and who are going to restore trust in our government again, and who all of whom are ready on day one to do their job.
Okay.
This is a cabinet that I promised you, it taps into the immense talent. This will be that is evenly and this will be the occupying this cabinet more than including woman defense secretary first net secretary.
Okay, that's the tweet from the 10th, and there's nothing in there about $600. Let's go back to the 9th. Hold on, because this might just be a misunderstanding of dates. People do that. People get the dates wrong.
In the midst of this pandemic,
okay, he says something about food on the table and stuff like that. So this might be it. Let's watch.
There are millions of people out of work, unable to pay their rent or their mortgage.
Yes.
They're waiting in line for hours.
That's me.
And to get money.
I have not had to go to a food bank. Especially a lot of that is due to you folks as well, so I appreciate your generosity. I really do.
Get food from a food bank. Think of this, the United States of America.
Yep.
People are lined up for miles in their automobiles, waiting to get a meal to put on the table to feed their family. And they're left staring at the ceiling, so many, unable to sleep, worried will they have their health insurance, wondering if they'll be okay.
Yep.
The bottom line is the job report shows we need to provide more immediate relief for working families and businesses now.
Yep.
Now.
Yep.
Not just to help them get to the other side of this painful crisis, but a larger purpose, to avoid a broader economic cost that exists out there that will happen due to long-term unemployment, hunger, homelessness, and business failings.
Yep.
But by acting, the vast majority of leading economists suggest that that's what we need to do to revive the economy.
Yep. Okay. That's everything from January 10th from Biden, including the videos. Nothing in there about $200 additional. Somehow I'm not surprised. If anyone has that information, feel free to share it. I would love to see it. Ammo, nobody is suggesting $600 checks. The $600 checks happened. Right now, the plan is an additional $1,400 to make $2,000. Well, okay, but Ammo, where did he say $2,000? I'd like to see that. I would like $2,000. I'm with you. I would like here's what I would like. I would like to go back to the $600 per week of unemployment, additional unemployment. Because the unemployment system is wacky, and I only qualified for $200 and some a month because I'm W-2 and I'm private contractor, and you can only choose one, and it's whack. Okay? So I get a lot less money than I would if I was only in one category. I'm with you. And then the $600 went away. Now I'm getting half as much. I'm getting $300 a week. Not even sure where that money's coming from, but I'm happy to get it. I think that was in the last stimulus. These are all over the place. Marcy says she sent me a DM about this, so we'll take a look at that. Let's go back to Hannity now that we've wasted all our time with that.
Exercise, a show to impeach, by the way, someone who isn't even in office anymore, which has no precedent.
No, he's already been impeached, Marco. He was impeached while he was in office, which makes no difference. The founding fathers set things up so that someone could be impeached after they left office. It's happened before. William Belknap, impeached after he resigned his position as Secretary of War. Now called Secretary of Defense because, 1984.
So that's what they're focused on, and before that, this week, laying out this COVID relief bill that they intend to ram down everyone's throat, not in a bipartisan way,
Marcy found it here we go. Joe Biden says $600 on January 10th. This is correct. Thank you. I take back any criticism I may have had of you, Ammo. And also, as I said, Twitter search leaves a lot to be desired. $600 is simply not enough when you have to choose between paying rent and putting food on the table. We need $2,000 stimulus checks. Agreed. Absolutely. That's what he wanted. And now he is compromising because everyone is demanding unity and bipartisanship. So we still may get the $2,000 checks. Let's find out. Right now, today, the Republican senators were in the White House saying, okay, we need to start it with 1,000 and work our way down. 1,000 if you don't have a job, etc., etc. They have certain requirements. Biden wants it to be 78,000 and below. Everybody gets a check. Nope. Republicans are, nope, that's too much. It's got to be more targeted, and we got to limit it at 1,000. So, take your choice, 1,400 or 1,000 and less. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Marcy, for getting me that. And now I know. And I don't know why I haven't seen that on Fox 10 times today. And keep in mind, we don't know the figure that's in the proposal yet.
A bunch of people reached out to him and said, look, we're willing to work. Let's do this for the good of the country. But the left is pushing them hard down everyone's throat, kind of like when they went it alone. So, you know, I hope I'm wrong. I hope as many Americans as possible can get the vaccine. That's their top focus right now.
Well, I mean, we have now a number of them. We have all the vaccines. We're having problems with the governors. It turns out that one of the states that has done the best overall, you've had your challenges like every state, is Florida. What did Florida do differently than California?
CNBC has the breaking news on that. This is the $1,000 stimulus checks, according to Republicans. This is from CNBC. Let's see what they say here. Okay, so they want to give away 1/3 of the money, or distribute it 1/3 of the money. So, and the understanding is, and of course, Biden on the 10th of January could have meant the stimulus check making $2,000 when included with the $6,000 check. I know he already, with an executive action, put into motion the IRS getting checks to the people that didn't get their checks in March, the $1,200 checks, like my own daughter. Okay, let's close that. We don't need that. The new proposal from a group of 10 GOP lawmakers calls for $1,000 checks per person rather than the $1,400 sum proposed by President Joe Biden. This would bring the direct payments to $1,600, including the first payment authorized in December. Okay, so commonly, this is CNBC, they're including the two together as part of the same stimulus. So it just depends on how you look at it. So if Joe Biden is saying $1,400, then that makes $2,000 with the $600 that was already delivered. Hopefully you all got that. I should let people know the website. IRS, where's my check? Stimulus checks. It is Get My Payment. Look up IRS Get My Payment, and you can find out there whether or not your payment was supposed to be sent to you, and it should be deposited in your account already. If you haven't received it, look into it, because that happened to my daughter in March, and it took us months to even find out why. And she's supposed to be getting it at some point. I'm not holding my breath.
California, New York, and all these other states, and Michigan is another one.
Well, you know, first of all, they empowered counties and hospitals prioritized. They said we're going to give it first to those who are over the age of 65 and are at high risk, and the population that, you know, statistically speaking, if they get this disease, are going to have a higher probability of winding up in the hospital, you know, obviously taking up those resources and having terrible outcomes. And so we're up to now, but a significant of Florida seniors.
Okay, we're going to skip Marco because I can't really understand him all that well anyway. Let's look at him here. Terrible connection.
The economy, it's not the foreign threats from China. Another.
Still Marco.
They were not in.
Here we go.
A terrible precedent. No longer in office. Donald Trump is a private citizen. The Senate lacks jurisdiction.
No, that's not true at all. This has happened before, and back when William Belknap was indicted or impeached by the House of Congress, the Senate took a vote to decide whether it was constitutional, and it passed 37-29. And this time, they just took that exact same vote, even though there's precedents for it before in U.S. history. And again, it was decided by the Senate that they do have jurisdiction. 55-45. So twice now in U.S. history, it has been decided that the Senate is able to try an impeachment after the person has left office. Of course that's the case. Otherwise, on the final day in office, a president could pardon literally every federal prisoner. Because there's no consequence. What are you going to do? Can't impeach me. I'm a free man now. Private citizen. Woo! No.
Start there. Jonathan Turley, who, by the way, is not a conservative, no fan of President Trump.
The last few years, he's been a conservative. He represents people in impeachment trials. This is how he pays the bills. One of the ways he pays the bills. So, yes, he's going to try and strike down impeachment every which way he possibly can because he's motivated by the almighty dollar.
He said this snap impeachment could damage the Constitution and will set a terrible precedent. The second reason this impeachment charade will fail is because the so-called incitement claims in the article are bogus. We now have multiple reports, even coming out of the fake news media mob, Washington Post, fake news CNN, court documents now confirming certain individuals, in fact, were aligned in planning their attacks well before January the 6th.
Yeah, Trump called them there. For 77 days, they denied that Biden had won the election. They said it had been stolen. They said their country was being taken from them. They called them to Washington on January 6th, telling them that it was going to be wild. Yeah, many people pre-planned. And then to help them, at the rally, Trump sent the mob down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And told them to fight like hell or they weren't going to have a country anymore. Just because some people planned it out beforehand at the behest of Trump doesn't mean that he hasn't been impeached. And he shouldn't be tried for his behavior. It's called the big lie for a reason.
Like, you know, planting pipe bombs the night before. In other words, they were...
Right. Why do we think the guy put down the pipe bombs? Actually, that's a good question because he put them down at the DNC and the RNC. Could be completely unrelated. But he knew things were going to be happening on January 6th. How did he know? Because the president kept telling him that things were going to be happening on January 6th.
Not incited by any remarks of anybody on January 6th, or the president. The third reason is impeachment.
Right, and a whole bunch were incited by those remarks, and other people were incited and planned based on past remarks before January 6th. Nobody is saying, in fact, if you look at the articles of impeachment, it's not saying that those remarks are inclusive to January 6th.
And this is a sham is obvious. If the president can be impeached and convicted for encouraging his supporters that day, many of you will peacefully, patriotically march to the Capitol to make your voices heard. Well, what about this? If that's the standard, we got a hell of a lot of impeachment days ahead of us, a lot of trials ahead. Take a look.
Okay. Yeah, please.
They're not going to let up, and they should not.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You see anybody from that cabinet?
Oh, okay, and if people went out and did things, go ahead and impeach them. But that's a congressperson. You can't impeach a congressperson, so have at it.
In a restaurant, in a department store,
Yeah.
at a gasoline station.
Yeah.
You get out and you create a crowd.
Okay. You can create a crowd as long as that crowd is peaceably assembled. I thought he was going to play a different clip that I do totally disagree with, but there's no problem with creating a crowd as long as it's peaceful. That's protected in the First Amendment. Peaceably assemble.
Go low, we kick them.
I just don't.
What? I like that. When they go low, we kick them. Couldn't have been a metaphor. But anyway, did anybody actually kick Republicans because of what he said? If they do, go ahead and impeach him. Again, not somebody you could impeach. Well, theoretically as a cabinet member, sure, go ahead, go for it, enjoy.
I don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
Okay, can't impeach her either. Can't impeach a congressperson. Moving on. If only they had some sort of constitutional expert, some sort of constitutional lawyer that they had access to.
But Mr. Burgess...
Yeah, you can impeach this guy. And it's been tried. But go ahead, try it again.
It's up against...
At Random says, I'm repeating, it has to do with legal precedent on interpreting incitement. There are qualifications that need to be met, and one is that violence must happen imminently. And some of the violence did happen imminently.
Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up.
The press always asks me, don't I wish I
Okay,
were...
what? Hold it.
Oh, we kick.
Yeah.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
I'll put Mr. Burgess up against Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up.
The press always asks...
Okay, did Mr. Burgess tear Sean Hannity up? Sean, if you're watching, were you torn up by Mr. Burgess? If you were, then please impeach President Obama. Go for it. Make sure that Obama never, no matter what, gets to hold the office of the presidency again. Good luck.
Don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
Oh, and then Joe Biden built a time machine and found Donald Trump and beat him up behind the high school in the gym. Impeach that asshole, time machine building moron. Wait, he doesn't know anything about, he doesn't have an idea, an original idea, doesn't have thoughts of his own. He's just a puppet. Shouldn't we be impeaching AOC because she's controlling him? She's the master puppet master? Oh, that's right. We can't impeach a congressperson. Wow, this is not going well for you, Sean.
That's what I wish.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch.
Yeah.
Want to tell you, Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
The whirlwind. Did Kavanaugh get blown over at some point? This is 2020, March 4th, 2020. That's again, go ahead and impeach a senator. Give it a shot. Because you know what? You can't. Sorry.
You will pay the price. We didn't play my favorite. Maxine Waters going, I'm going to...
Yeah, no, I get why. Yes, legally speaking, incitement could be viewed as legal. Again, this is not a legal proceeding. This is a political proceeding. Let's take it back to Federal 65. This is Hamilton. And that's why they wanted to... The Founding Fathers wanted to keep impeachment very specifically out of the courts. This is political because it has to do with keeping people from political office. This is what Hamilton wrote about it. A well-constituted court for the trial of impeachments is an object not more to be desired than difficult to be obtained in a government wholly effective. In other words, you can't really do it in a court. You'd like to have an impartial jury, but you can't have it that way because you have an elected government. The subjects of its jurisdiction are those offenses which proceed from the misconduct of public men, politicians, or, in other words, from the abuse or violation of some public trust. The Founding Fathers were very in on the concept of a public trust. When you put somebody into office and they represent you, there is a public trust involved. You trust that they will do the right thing. Claiming that you won an election that you clearly didn't, and then telling people to go down to the Capitol and fight like hell against the other branch of the government, that is not part of the public trust. Okay, but here's the important part. I'm going to get rid of myself so you can see it. No, I'm going to do this. They are the impeachment trials of a nature which may be peculiar propriety, may with peculiar propriety be denominated political. And yes, in the original text, Hamilton used all caps. He wanted to yell this. He wanted to make it known that, yeah, it is political, as they relate chiefly to injuries done immediately to the society itself. It is not a legal proceeding. Impeachments and impeachment trials are different, and the Founding Fathers knew that. That is the way they came from Great Britain. That is the way they were instituted here in the United States. They are specifically political in nature. Moving on.
Going to take Donald
Good night, LP.
Trump out tonight. Wow. Sounds like insurrection.
You can't impeach Congress members. Congressmen, they can be expelled by 2/3 votes, but they can't be impeached. It's been tried before. They tried to impeach a senator, and nope, the Supreme Court I believe it's the Supreme Court. I can't remember if it was the actual Senate or the Supreme Court. Way back when, 1790, 1780, something like that. I wish I could come up with the name right now. I can't. But we have expulsion. There is a remedy for Congress people, and it is expulsion, and that's the Constitution. So it's been decided that's the way you do it.
Election talk. And
if you actually listen to what Trump said on January 6th, he said, period. That's not what Trump said. I don't know what you're saying there, David. What did Trump not say on January 6th? Please share what you're saying, because I have that speech from January 6th. So if you're telling me that he did not say, go fight like hell or you're going to lose your country, I will show you. Be happy to. Or maybe you're responding to somebody else. I don't know, David. Let me know.
And, of course, you have former President Obama. Now that you can impeach former presidents, what about his statement? They bring a knife to a fight, we bring a gun. What about the other violent rhetoric from Maxine Waters? What about Joe Biden take the President Trump behind the gym and beat the hell out of him? He seems so tough out there. I got to get my elbows ready in case.
So, Obama talking about a football game? Go ahead. Impeach him. Go for it. Enjoy. Rock on, Kennedy.
You know, these liberals come after us. Anyway, here with more is President Trump's impeachment defense attorney, David Schoen. David, thank you for being with us.
This is why we're here, kids. David Schoen. Here we go.
With us. I see that these three things. I see Constitution, and with that, whether or not you have jurisdiction. I see that if they're going to say that was incitement, I don't know how one peacefully, patriotically marches to the Capitol to do that. And
because he read that off the teleprompter, and then he told them to go down there and fight like hell, or they're not going to have a country anymore. That's what he said. I'll play it, but let's move on.
We now know from law enforcement, even from news outlets, and even from court documents that this was all pre-planned ahead of time, hardly an incitement.
Yeah. Listen, you've hit many of the main arguments that I think are attractive to the American people. They're all right on. But I'm going to say to you that besides the fact that this process is completely unconstitutional.
It sounds like you guys have been having a discussion in the chat room there. I'll clear it up for you. Yeah, expulsion is in the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2. And this is from Wikipedia, but you can don't believe Wikipedia. If you have a problem with Wikipedia, by the way, which is highly accurate, because there are people that just correct Wikipedia for a living. And for a living, I mean as a hobby. Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2. Each House of Congress may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and, with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. That's your remedy for a congressperson that gets out of hand. It's in the Constitution. So no, you don't impeach Congress people. You can try. It's been tried before, but go ahead. Sorry, D. This is Stop the INHANNITY, so we're covering Hannity today. This is Trump's lawyer for the upcoming trial. Kevin, the people who are not saying it was premeditated just need to watch the Don Jr. backstage tent video. I think I asked before, and I don't know if I got an answer from you, Leslie. Is that the one backstage before the speech? And is the song Gloria playing in it? That's what I need to know, because if it's the one with Gloria playing in the background, I can't play it. I'll get a YouTube copyright strike in a second on Gloria.
Constitution.
Unless I sing it. Gloria, da-na-na, I think I got your number. Gloria, I think I got your... I'll be sleeping alone tonight. Which is hard to believe with those dance moves. I got my vaccine today, and my arm is so sore. And it was my second dose of the vaccine. And it hurt. They hit me right in the muscle. And no, it was the shingles vaccine. I got the second dose of the shingles vaccine. No, I don't have the good vaccine. Although I don't want the shingles.
And that this is a...
Yeah, if you want to watch that video, if that's the one Leslie's talking about, if you want to watch the Don Jr. video, it's easily searchable. It's all over the place on the Twitters. And I don't remember it really being startling to me, but maybe I missed something. Speaking of missing something.
Very, very dangerous road to take with respect to the First Amendment, putting at risk...
Let's go back.
That I think are attractive to the American people. Yeah. They're all right on. But I'm going to say to you that besides the fact that this process is completely unconstitutional.
It is not. Clearly, it's been done before. And it doesn't make any sense that it would be unconstitutional.
And that this is a very, very dangerous road to take with respect to the First Amendment.
It is not. The First Amendment has long been held to excluding yelling fire in a crowded theater. You've told these people that their country's being stolen. Their home is being stolen away from them by corrupt and rigged politicians, including your own vice president. You got 600,000 people in a crowd. That's what he claimed he had. It was far fewer than that. You got 100,000 people in a crowd, and you send them down to an area that's been cordoned off and say, go down there, go to the Capitol, and fight like hell, or you're not going to have a country anymore. That is yelling fire in a very, very crowded theater. So there's no constitutional question on this.
At risk any passionate political speaker, which is really against everything we believe in this country.
No, it's not. We have limits. Your rights and your rights to throw a punch end at my face. You've probably all heard that concept before, but it's a pretty basic concept. Your rights cannot infringe upon mine. When you use free speech to incite violence, your free speech has ended because people will be harmed by the violence. The police officer that was bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher, he was harmed.
Foundation of the First Amendment. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's also the most ill-advised legislative action that I've seen in my lifetime. It is tearing the country apart at a time when we don't need anything like that. I think President Biden is to great...
It's not tearing the country apart. That's the stupidest thing. Like there's people now that aren't on one side or the other, that are independents just riding the middle. They don't care about politics. Oh no, they're impeaching the guy who sent people down to burn the Capitol. How is anybody who's... I want to hear, if you people know somebody who's been completely impartial to Trump up until now, did they just get torn apart because he's having an impeachment trial in the Senate in the middle of the day? Let me know. I want to talk to that person. Well, I really didn't care until I saw on C-SPAN that they were doing an impeachment trial, and I thought, I didn't know I had C-SPAN.
Opportunity to be a statesman and to demand that this...
Babe, free speech is hate speech here in the United States. You're allowed to use hate speech. Canada, you can't use hate speech, but the First Amendment is more liberal here in the United States. So yes, hate speech is a thing in Canada. It's not a thing here. You can use hate speech here.
This thing be called off, frankly. This is the political weaponization of the impeachment process. There was a rush to judgment. Listen, when...
And what did our friend Hamilton say? He said it's political. In all caps, he said it's political. Yes, so it is a political weapon. It's what it is.
President Trump became president. The day he was elected, there were calls for his impeachment already. This is the weapon they've tried to use against him. But now we know also that the agenda...
Was he, though? Was he because Representative Green said he needs to be impeached the day he was elected? I think it was actually the day he was inaugurated, but it could have been before that, too. But was he? Did they weaponize impeachment at that point? No. No, they did not.
Ms. Pelosi and others is simply to bar President Trump from ever running for president again. And
yes.
That's about as undemocratic as you can get. Can you imagine the slap in the face that...
No. No, it's not. He betrayed the public trust, and that is exactly what impeachment is for! Dude, read the Constitution and then read a few of the Federalist papers. It's all over the place.
That is to the 75 million or more voters who voted for Donald Trump and other supporters.
Wait, hold on a second. He just said slap in the face of the voters. You're not allowed to talk about violence. He needs to be impeached.
People who didn't vote for him support an open political process. Fair-minded people don't support using the impeachment process to then try to bar someone from running for office again. But you're right also. There are...
That's what it's for. Why would that exist if it wasn't what it was for? Why are you manufacturing Twinkies? Well, certainly not for people to eat. That's actually true. That's the worst example I could come up with. But yeah, the reason that you have a vote to stop someone from running for office is because you're trying to keep them from holding office.
Many constitutional arguments against this. We don't use our political
there are none. There are none.
Preferences to tear down the Constitution.
No.
After you
it's in the Constitution. We're doing what the instruction book says to do. Oh, can I be part of the trial? Can I just rebut him?
Make the constitutional arguments, and I know I've known you for many years. You've been in this business for a long time. After you point out that what law enforcement and court documents say that it was pre-planned, so it wasn't a spontaneous, it was something that had been planned ahead of time, couldn't have been incited by anybody. If the Democrats want to go down this road of witnesses, and I hope...
No, I mean, okay, let's just take the ones that were planned ahead of time out of it. Because there were a whole bunch of people there that went from Trump's speech directly to the Capitol. If you just want to do that day, that's fine too. That's more than enough to stop him from running for office ever again. But again, I just want to remind everybody, if you're watching and you're not familiar with the show, I don't want Trump to be convicted. I want to keep Trump viable in the Republican Party. He's terrible. He's tearing the Republicans apart. And again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent, didn't vote for Hillary. But Trump is terrible. Trump represents a lack of truth. Trump represents a lack of reality. And the Republicans, by foistering, as he would say, Trump upon us all those years ago, and supporting him through all of this, they're just keeping us in a fog of untruth. And they know it. Most of them know it. Some of them are just crazy, but most of them know it. And so Trump came to power in 2016, not winning the popular vote, but winning the Electoral College, and that's what counts. So he won the Electoral College. I'm calling it that because that's what the insurrectionists called it. I know what it's actually called. He won the Electoral College, and the Republicans won the House, and they won the Senate. And under Trump's tutelage, they lost the House in 2018. They lost the House again in 2020. They lost the Senate in 2020 twice. And they've lost the executive branch. So stay with your guy. Keep him in there. Keep Trump in power. Happy to have him there.
They do. Because I think the next logical step, I think we've got to apply the same standard to Schumer, Joe Biden. Kamala Harris made her remarks. You better beware. Okay. You better take note. They're not going to stop. They won't stop. This is after they burned down the Minneapolis police station, and she was out about that time.
No, I'll fact check him on that right there. The Minneapolis police station was burned down by the Jewish space laser. Get it together. These have all been declassified by Marjorie Taylor Greene. We know this now. Idiots.
Raising money for bail for people arrested. I think we should apply the same standards to Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
Go for it.
And let the American people
impeach them all.
Compare the words of all of them with the president saying you will peacefully, march to the Capitol so your voices can get heard.
Okay, and then the part where he said, go down there and fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore because something terrible has happened. Again, I'll play it for you. Hold on.
And I
think you're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there are 2 points about this. I would say you also should be able to call then many of the senators as witnesses because of the awful bias and prejudgment they've shown. Can you imagine any American citizen considering it to be a trial in which the judge and jury has already announced publicly that the defendant must be convicted in this case? And in fact, Senator...
Yeah, but we covered this a few minutes ago. Hamilton, it's political. He didn't even write a rap about it, which is disappointing to me. If only Hamilton had gone through an impeachment, that would have been fun. But yeah, this is how it's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be a judge and jury. It is a political in nature, given the elected officials. Is it perfect? No. Hamilton knew it wasn't perfect. That by nature, it's going to be partial. But that's what they said was the best way to do this. I mean, if you hate the Founding Fathers, if you hate the Constitution, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Make yourself an amendment. But that's the way impeachment is set up to work.
He demanded that Senator McConnell vote for conviction also. Both sides, everyone, it's clear to them, Donald Trump undercut democracy. How can we possibly have a fair trial?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how. You can't, because it's an impeachment. That's the way it's literally designed to be unfair. Okay? That's how it works. Besides, he's not going to get convicted. So, calm your jets.
Something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have...
Okay, very, very quiet. Sorry, guys, I'll be quiet. I'm going to pump his audio up all the way. This is the president. These are his words. I didn't edit this.
Something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. So we're going to go down to Pennsylvania Avenue. Look it up yourself. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. Do your own research. No, I don't want to exit. Hold on. Almost stopped the broadcast on myself there. Sorry, the volume on that is way low. I'll go back later and adjust that. But that's... Yeah, and now, of course, leading up to this, Trump had already primed the pump. This is the day before. These are some megas in, I think, Georgia. We'll find out in a second.
No, he'll never be my president.
Okay, but you accept that he's going to be inaugurated?
No, I don't.
I mean, how could that change at this point?
Well, it could be a civil war. You never know.
So there's some megas, some Trump supporters in Dalton, Georgia, praying that there's going to be a civil war. You don't know. They'll never accept Biden as their legally elected president. The Constitution.
Senator Schumer promised a fair and full trial. You can't when you know that the juror and the judge are biased going in. The second thing is...
Well, no, it will be a fair and full impeachment trial. It's not a judicial trial. There's not even the right to the speedy trial. Those are all... I mean, you can't even have... You could have criminal unusual punishment if you consider not being allowed to run for office. But yeah, no, it's not a regular trial. It's fine. I don't know, Alan. I wish that there would be an indictment right away, but New York might be holding off until they have further evidence. They've started interviews already, but they might be holding off until they have an indictment from a grand jury. They may be holding off until after the impeachment trial. There's any number of reasons that nothing has happened in the New York case that we know of. We do know that the taxes have been released and a lot of the business paperwork have been released. I checked that. It may not actually be the taxes. It might just be business paperwork from the Trump organization. Oh, hold on, everybody. Producer Joanne is here. You know what we're going to do? I'm just going to rewind the show, and we'll just show that. Everybody just stand by. It's an hour and 24 minutes. And then since Joanna just got here, we'll just wait. Go ahead. I'm just going to rewind the show right now. Here we go.
Does this country really need to see videotapes? We know now, apparently, that Mr. Swalwell and the other managers tend to show videotapes of the riots and people...
Yeah, videotapes of the people with the hockey sticks beating the police officers with the hockey sticks, dragging them down the stairs. I don't know if you guys have seen the police body cams. I don't have it readily available here, but they've been showing it a lot on CNN, I think on MSNBC as well. But yeah, I mean, God forbid that the people involved in the trial see the evidence. It's the last thing you want in a trial.
Calling in, people...
Does anybody know why he's sitting like this?
Being hurt, police officers talking, why does the country need that now? We would stipulate that there was a riot, that went on that day. It was a tragedy. President Trump has condemned violence.
We would stipulate that there's... So they're agreeing, if he's saying that it was a court of law, they would agree, yes, there was a riot, that it was a tragedy. There was a riot. No, we don't need to see pictures or video. No. No reason for that. We don't want the jury to see actual evidence. God forbid.
Violence at all times. Read the words of his speech. Calls for peacefulness. This had nothing to do with President Trump and the country.
We just, yeah, the words of his speech on the teleprompter, it said, go down there, go peacefully so that your voices can be heard. And then 20 minutes later, he's all, get down there and fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore. We just heard it. Barely heard it. It was very, very soft. Like his beard.
He doesn't need to just watch videos of riots. And
that's what it is, Dr. Howard. That's true. He's probably got some water in his ear. I'm hitting the wrong ear. Do you ever notice that when you do this, you hit the wrong ear? You got to hit this ear to get the water to come out that side. That's how I lost my brain.
Unrest. We need to heal now. We need to move forward.
All right. We've already been ragging on Hannity for an hour and a half. Let's see what else is coming up, if there's anything that's going to be really interesting to it. So that's a news update. Dan Crenshaw, I'm not interested. Pete Hegseth, it's another Fox reporter, not interested. Who else we got? My Pillow commercials, not interested. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is the Facebook stuff. Let's see how silly this is. Let's watch this.
And tonight, another explosive video from Project
Explosive
Veritas, now showing Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg criticizing Donald Trump, gleefully discussing the inauguration of Joe Biden.
Probably won't be gleeful. We'll find that out. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't actually feel human emotions, so I'm not sure we're going to see the glee part of this. Perhaps he'll break into a popular song in chorus style.
And revealing just how aligned Facebook and Biden really are.
Biden is the drinking word for the next 4 years.
And as always, we let you decide. Take a look.
Okay. Let me decide. Okay, here we go. This is Mark Zuckerberg. This is probably, well, it's just Mark the Hell with Project Veritas leaked. So this is probably video of Mark Zuckerberg talking to employees or something. Let's find out.
These completely shocking events of the last 24 hours, I think, have clearly demonstrated that the president intends to use his remaining time in office to undermine the peaceful and lawful transition of power to his elected successor, Joe Biden. But I also...
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm not sure what's shocking about that, but go on.
I have to say that I thought that President Biden's inaugural address was very good. And I appreciate both what he said about unity and the challenges ahead, but also his plain spoken style. And I think that these...
I'm not seeing the glee there. I'm not even seeing the cracking of a smile. He's just discussing it. I'm not seeing... I'll show you some glee. I thought that Biden's speech was absolutely fantastic. When the fireworks went off and Katy Perry started in with firework, and it's like, Biden's a firework. Oh my God, I could not believe it. I was happier than I've ever been. Let's all sing. Baby, you're a firework. Show me what your colors were. That's gleeful. At random, that's probably as close to glee as Zuckerberg gets.
We're all important and positive steps, and I am looking forward to opportunities where Facebook is able to work together with this new administration.
I'm looking forward to the time when we can work together with this new administration. Hold me back! Calm down, Zuckerberg! Jesus. Act like you've been happy before.
We did reach out to Facebook numerous times today for comment, yet to hear back from them. Here to explain more, Project Veritas founder, CEO James O'Keefe. James, great to have you back. First you get @Jack, then you got Zuckerberg, and there's more tapes to come apparently.
Yeah. They always release the most damning tapes first, so that was it. That was the damning tapes. I thought that the speech was good, and I look forward to working with the new administration. Oh my God! Shut Facebook down! Break them up!
Sean, this is a whistleblower inside Facebook, a new whistleblower. They're coming in steady, 1 to 2 a day. Veritas tips at protonmail.com.
1 to 2 a day. He's on television. Maybe he's nervous. Maybe he doesn't know he's on television. Maybe someone's secretly recording this. You don't know.
And this is not just Zuckerberg, Sean. It's a guy named Nick Clegg, Facebook head of global affairs, and he confirms that Facebook is too powerful. He says Facebook is forced to make decisions that government refused to make. They're making them in real time. There's also this Zuckerberg on this tape, this weekly staff meeting, Zuckerberg basically saying that they are aligned with the Biden administration on the executive orders. We can't imagine Zuckerberg saying about a Republican White House, and he says they're supporting these executive orders.
Oh my God, a corporation has opinions. Okay. Okay, moving on from that. That's boring the hell out of me already. Let's see. What do we got? No.
Freedom of speech is different than freedom of...
Okay, here we go.
Dishonest crime.
Stalker, Humpty Dumpty over...
Oh, he does call him Humpty Dumpty.
Trying to claim,
maybe we'll find out why he calls Brian Stelter Humpty Dumpty. Oh, this is exciting.
It's not about freedom of speech. No, it's about freedom of reach. Only a leftist can come up with that insane logic. Now, listen to psycho-obsessed Fox News Hannity professional stalker, Humpty...
Me! He's going to have... Oh. I've only done one show so far, so... Maybe we'll do more Stop the INHANNITY. Honestly, though, after one show of watching Hannity, you realize the next show is exactly the same clips over and over again. Yes, Maxine Waters said to get a crowd together. Just pathetic. The outrage!
Dumpty over there on his network fake news CNN yesterday. Take a look.
Professional.
There is, up in the sky, information pollution. And the polluters are trying to deflect blame. Dishonest cries of censorship are filling Fox's airwaves with charges that these guys right here are being suppressed. But reducing a liar's reach is not the same as censoring freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
That is correct.
Speech is different than freedom of reach.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine being lectured on misinformation by fake news CNN. They're the one network that fueled never-ending, nonstop hatred, rage, anti-Trump conspiracy theories pretty much for 5 straight years and continue to
Do you want to give me an example of one of those anti-Trump conspiracy theories?
This day. The Russia hoax, the debunked dossier.
No, Russia was not a hoax. Russia, they colluded with Trump. Hey, thank you very much, Jessica. I'm sorry to interrupt myself, but super chat from Jessica, $10. Thank you very much. They need more singing. You like my singing? Baby, you're a firework. Show 'em what your color's worth. I don't know the words, erds, cause I'm really just a nerd. The CNN home of fake news is how they attacked them. The Russia hoax was not a hoax. The Trump campaign colluded with Russia. That's been established. What's also been established is that Mueller couldn't prove that there was conspiracy. Collusion, not a crime. Conspiracy to commit fraud is a crime. And Mueller could not establish that. Look on page 10 of the Mueller report. It explains why. Because the Trump campaign pled the fifth. Because the Trump campaign deleted emails. Because the Trump campaign lied. Because the Trump campaign encrypted data. That's why they couldn't prove a case of conspiracy. But no, it was not a hoax. Read the first 200 pages of the Mueller report. Read the 1,000 pages of the GOP-led Senate Intel Committee. Trump enabled Russia. That's it. That's everything. They just can't prove the conspiracy. Two different things. Collusion, not illegal. Conspiracy, illegal.
Bizarre, untrue conspiracy theories to lies about Justice Kavanaugh, promoting, their buddy, their pal, their friend, Michael Avenatti, smearing the kids.
We don't know. I don't know how CNN's buddy is Michael Avenatti. He was on all the networks. He was on Fox. But okay. I mean, I don't even know what to say with that. It's just Michael Avenatti had his opinions. Like, literally befuddled by that. Like, what does that have to do with CNN?
Of Covington High School.
Yeah, okay.
The Russia hoax, the debunked dossier, bizarre, untrue conspiracy theory.
By the way, the dossier is not in the Mueller report. In fact, when they asked Mueller about the dossier, he really didn't know what they were even talking about. It's just like, what does this have? What about the dossier? And Mueller's like, I don't know. The Mueller report, the Mueller team looked at the dossier and said, yeah, no, this is, we're not going to use the P tape. But the basis of the dossier was actually true, that Russia interfered with our election. That's been established. We know that.
To lies about Justice Kavanaugh, promoting, their buddy, their...
We don't know if there were lies about Justice Kavanaugh because they weren't investigated. There were allegations from several years ago. We don't know if Dr. Ford, right? We don't know if Dr. Ford was lying.
Pal, their friend, Michael Avenatti.
Just because the Senate confirms a judge doesn't mean that somebody who accuses him of sexual assault years earlier is lying. That's not the way it works. We don't know. We don't have a ruling on that.
Smearing the kids of Covington High School and telling us Jussie Smollett was the victim of a hate crime and telling us the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian.
Well, Fox did too. Fox News reported Jussie Smollett being the victim of a hate crime when it happened. Right away, I was like, no. I didn't have a show at the time. But those of you who know me, if we talked about that at the time, as soon as I heard about the Jussie or Smollett thing, I was like, none of that makes any sense. This is Trump country. Who says? No one says that.
This information.
In Chicago, in the dead of night, on their way to get a subway? With a noose? Swagging around South Sea. I didn't even know where in Chicago it was, but it just didn't make any sense to me.
And much more. No one has done more to fuel hysteria, divisiveness, lies, and hatred than fake news CNN. No one has done more to divide this country and lie to the American people.
This is simply not true. Trump told 30,000 lies in office.
Than fake news CNN. And no
demonstrable lies. And when CNN tells a lie, when they make a mistake, they correct it. And they admit it. They fire reporters when this happens.
No one has done more to destroy their own credibility, you got it, than fake news CNN. So I say to...
Says Sean Hannity.
Humpty Dumpty, his boss, Mr.
Why are they calling him Humpty Dumpty? Because his head looks like it's egg-shaped? I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know.
Potato Head and his extremely creepy stalker sidekick, that they all live in a bubble full of hypocrisy.
Stalker because he watches your show?
A bubble of complete disinformation, and they all refuse to take any action to call out their own network or hold anyone on their biased network accountable for all the lies and violent rhetoric that they disseminate pretty much almost every minute of every day. Don't expect anyone in fake news CNN to actually confront the reality of the weak, the frail, the ever-forgetful Joe Biden, who again suffered yet another baffling moment while talking about...
I'm not baffled by it because I'm smart enough to figure it out.
Vaccines. Take a look.
Some of it will come as early, begin to...
He's not... Okay.
Come in early summer, but by the midsummer, that this vaccine will be there. And the order, and that increases the total vaccine order in the United States by 50%. from 400 million order to 600 million. This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans by end of the summer.
Okay, now he's not just repeating things that he played the day before. Now he's repeating things from earlier in the show. This is where we are. That's his proof. By the way, he got the figures right. From 400 to 6 million to 600 million being enough for 300 million. He didn't say million, but he got the math on that right. So I don't know how addled you are when you're getting the figures right. He's doing math as he goes here.
Summer, the beginning of the fall.
Yeah.
But we want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic. 300 million Americans.
Oh, he corrected it. I don't think he showed that earlier. Did he? Let's go back. Let's go back and see if he actually showed Biden correcting it earlier, because I don't remember seeing it earlier. Here it is.
Enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic.
He didn't show the correction earlier. Anybody can make a mistake. And then when you correct it in real time, you realize that you've made the mistake. Joe Biden is cognizant. They forgot to cut the tape that time. Boy, that's pathetic. Dan Bongino, no interest. No interest. Again, just in case you missed that, Joe Biden corrects himself in real time here. That's Dan Bongino. No. Go back. Right here.
Percent from 400 million order to 600 million.
Yep. Good night, Ruth Ann.
This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans.
Yep.
By end of the summer, the beginning of the fall.
Yeah.
But we want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans to beat this pandemic. 300 million Americans.
He's cognizant of what he's saying and or reading off the teleprompter. I don't know exactly what the situation is there. I can't see a teleprompter, but he could be reading from a teleprompter, which is fine. He realizes that he's made a gaffe, and he corrects it right then and there. Doesn't even finish the sentence. Corrects himself. Wow. And this is their best argument. This is just, it's gotten so pathetic on Hannity. Another My Pillow, some more My Pillow, some more ads. Here's, speaking of more ads, what's this?
100% of the time to win that award. Guess
Gonna attack Black Lives Matter here.
Not. Here with reaction. Civil rights attorney, Fox News contributor, Leo 2.0. All right, the same group, again.
He's calling himself Leo 2.0 now.
And not people after George Floyd saying Black Lives Matter, but the group Black Lives
Thank you for the super chat, Ruth Ann. Sleep well.
Matter. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them now? Pigs in a blanket. Fry them like bacon. That group? That's the group that's nominated.
Oh, they were nominated for a Nobel Peace nomination. Wait, a Nobel Peace Prize. I think it's got to be a Peace Prize. Why wouldn't it be? So yeah, sometimes Black Lives Matter, people wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts do bad things. But in general, the group itself, trying to grow awareness and recognition of civil rights violations, that's a pretty good thing. Antifa? No, not a great thing. But Antifa hasn't been nominated as far as I know. Jared Kushner was nominated for a Nobel Prize.
For the Peace Prize, that one?
A Marxist organization is trying to be legitimized by getting a Nobel Peace.
Look at all these people rioting. See all these peaceful protesters? They're all rioting. They don't want peace.
Peace Prize? Do we forget what happened last year? $1 billion of insurance.
Where 99% of the marches were peaceful? Do we forget that? Donald Trump was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and he sent people to attack the Capitol. So I guess anybody can get a nomination now.
Claims Black Lives Matter. Here's the hypocrisy of it.
All right. Already bored with that.
Study was over the.
That's My Pillow again. There he is. I I don't understand how MyPillow is financially viable. I don't get it. Leslie, are you still in here? Yeah, you are. So the Donald Jr. Tape that you said you wanted us to play, that's the one where he's in the tent right before and Gloria's playing, right? Because I can't play it. But you guys can watch that. And I can't play it because I'll get a copyright strike for Gloria. They're very, very picky on that. About the same as YMCA. And I think after like 3 or 4 seconds on YMCA, I got a copyright strike. So just to watch it would be... speaking of annoying, hold on. Let's get rid of that. That's just wrong. Just wrong. Okay, let's get rid of that too. There we go. There's a nice thing. I'm looking at a picture of Joe Biden, and I've got glee when it comes to that. He's a maniac, and it shows. Yeah, no, don't worry about it, Leslie. No, you didn't know, and I've watched it before, and I happen to know, and so it's good that we share information with each other. I have a wing. I'm not sure what it's doing there, but kind of like it. That's my Superman curl, but it's off to the side. Okay. Well, good MyPillow bit on Weekend Update. Yes, it was, and if you guys want to watch SNL, watch SNL. I'm not going to show SNL to you for the most part because it is... They are very, very, very protective of their copyright strike. Joe Walker says, why do the Crips allow so many red hats to walk around? No red hats in the 80s and 90s. I guess it depends on the neighborhood. Ryan says, those pillars are like $100. Actually, it's 2 for 1. It's 2 for 1 so often that... what 5 minute and 56 one? Send me a link, Leslie, and I'll show it. It's 2 for 1 so often that the Better Business Bureau actually went after MyPillow and said, okay, it's always 2 for 1. Therefore, that is the price of the pillows. You've done the 2 for 1 so long, and they went after them, and there was a settlement, and it's just 2 for 1. And they have my PayPal works. Thank you, Alan. Alan probably just sent me some PayPal. Let's see if that happened. Don't know what that's about, but give me 1 second here because I'm supposed to get a little ding when I get PayPal, but I didn't hear it. But I've also had the headphones on, and I don't listen to it. But yeah, if you did send me PayPal, thank you very much. I don't have a notification on it yet, but thank you very much, Alan. If you do want to send me PayPal and you happen to be here right now, send it to me here. /KevinLeeDad@paypal.me. Kevin-Williams.157. KevinLeeFather.com, or you can super chat if YouTube. It's the Gloria one? Yeah. I did. I can't watch the Gloria one. I'm out of words, guys. I'm dying here. It's been about 2 hours, and it's been a pleasure. So that's all the broadcasting for today. I will not be joining you any further. It's there. Thank you, Alan. Hold on. Why am I not seeing it, Alan? This is dumb. I'm refreshing and I'm not seeing it. But hold on, Alan. I want to give Alan credit, and I also want to make sure that it wasn't sent to like the wrong Kevin Lee Dad. I'm gonna pull it up here. Alan's probably monitoring my signing right now, and he's stealing all my passwords as we go here because he's that sophisticated. And see, now I've got it double checked here. A text has to come to my phone to confirm that it's me, hoisted by your own Picard. And you'll never get my secret code. Hold on, let's see here. Pulling up Alan, and just give me a summary. Give me an activity. Here it is. Waiting. No, nothing has appeared yet, Alan, but I appreciate it. I'm sure it will show up, and I love that. So thank you very much to Alan for supporting this broadcast and now enabling me to bring it to you and enabling me to buy my 50-cent packets of Manolai. Oh, it's green. You guys can't see it. Oh, look at that. It's an American flag. Macadamia nuts become the American flag. Look at that. They're Maui onion and garlic, and Maui is part of America. Therefore, it all works together. And now I have to sweep up the floor because I dropped the packet of macadamia crumbs on the floor. So everything works out well. Guys, I gotta go. I got some sweeping to do. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Good to see you, Sandra, Leslie, Alan, Joe. Good to see you. Yeah, it could be. Alan is probably in the house right now, robbing it blind. I don't know what there would be to steal, but actually most stuff is not mine. So thank you. He's probably in the front room right now, stealing stuff and trying to keep me in the studio. A lot of banging going on out there, and nobody's home but me. It's the cat. Oh, I just heard. Yeah, I heard Alan out there saying meow. It's me, the cat. So. It's an old joke. That's a joke my dad would tell. Okay, good night, everybody. Here's some credits. And no, I haven't updated them, but it is in my to-do list. So that's important. Speaking of important, Kevin Lee daughter might have jury duty tomorrow. And that's super important. So if you guys have never done jury duty, you're just like me. I've never done it. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Shh. Do not tell anybody. Guys, be good.
Kevin, thanks for that.
Cause baby, you're a firework. Show me what your shoes are worth. Throwing up like, and you really, sky. Zoom, zoom, zoom is better than Facebook chat. And I'm gonna go, you. I know you.